Hello guys, today I want to talk to you about global problems and emphasize on the fact that global problems are actually local problems. We are defined by the problems that we see. For some of us who are on the journey of self-discovery, you need to know that you can define yourself by the problems that you have the ability to see. When you walk into a room, it's not the problems that you see that I might see. Sometimes you come into a space and the first thing that you notice is the order of the room. I might come into the place and the first thing I see is the color on the walls. So the problem that you see defines who you really are. And you can narrow down that definition to the problems that provokes you the most, the problems that work on your emotion the most, the problems that anger you the most might be the problems that you are wired to solve. I'm saying that to clarify the fact that you are not wired to solve every problem. You don't need to go out there looking for every problem to solve because you can't solve every problem. There are problems that you have been wired to solve. There are problems that you have been designed to solve. You can't solve every problem. Now, the problems that you see, number one, is an indicator of the problems that you might be wired to solve. When you walk into a space, when you drive on the road, when you walk by the streets, what problems do you constantly notice? What really gets your attention? That might be an indicator of a problem that you are gifted to solve. The problems that get you angry the most, there are things that you might see on the news that doesn't bother you. There are things that I might see on the news and lose my sleep over. The problems that anger me might be the problems I am wired to solve. You need to really begin to understand your emotions, understand your perception, because it holds the key to your definition. Now that you understand that you are not wired to solve every problem, permit me to say that everywhere there is a problem, there is a job. Everywhere you see a problem, it is an opportunity of favor. Everywhere there is a problem, it is an opportunity for favor. You can't be jobless because we have explained before now that problems are everywhere. Now you know that you are not wired to solve every problem, you are wired to solve specific problems. But it's also important to know that while you see the problems, you don't see the problems as problems alone. You see the problems as an opportunity to create a job. So joblessness is completely off your table. Most people who are great today were not born great. And most of the most wealthy people on the earth were not born wealthy. There are no silver spoons in the world. We need to begin to undermine that mentality that certain people are privileged from birth. If you understudy some of the lives that you think are privileged from birth, they are not necessarily successful. They might have the means, but they are not happy. Greatness is having the means and having happiness. Having the means and having success. Having the means and being prosperous. It's a whole package. Your ability to define a problem and solve the problem you are wired to solve is your ticket on the craft of greatness. Great men and great women are people who have been able to define the problems that they are wired to solve, and people who have been able to master the act of solving those problems. Once you can define the problems you're wired to solve and begin to learn the mastering of solving those problems, you have acquired your ticket to board the craft of greatness. Greatness is not global. Greatness is local. When you look at certain people like Dangote, Koscharis, Donald Trump, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, you think that they are global men. When you hear names like Martin Luther King, you think that they are global men. When you hear names like Mandela, you think that they are global men. They have been able to build for themselves a global space. But in the real sense of it, the real act of greatness is never truly global. The real act of greatness is always local. The Mandelas of our world have become global because they invested themselves in solving local problems. What we call global problems are actually a collection of local problems. When we say the problem of shelter, or the problem of terrorism, or the problem of transportation, transportation has a global phenomenon but has a local nature. Great men and great women have mastered the art of solving local problems with a global perspective. They solve local problems with a global thinking. They solve local problems with a global strategy. They solve a local problem with a global mindset. But what they have come to solve, the Mandelas and the Bill Gates, are local problems with a very global phenomenon. So it's not really about looking for a global problem. You won't find them. What you need to invest your time in looking for are local problems, and they are around you every day. When you begin to master the act of solving local problems with a global perspective, then you can become a global man and a global woman. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye now.